store? That's right. She has over 20 years experience in the art of repairing jewelry. Most repairs are done within a week, so don't send your jewelry off for 6 weeks. Bring it to us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We size rings and solder chains. We can reset your diamond into a new setting and even custom design. You'll get your jewelry back quickly and looking as good as new. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, Bay County's trusted jeweler for over 50 years.
Hello?
Honey, my radio is making this loud squeaking noise when I'm stopping my car. I really think I might need new speakers.
Oh, why don't you try turning down the radio, hon?
It just got worse.
Maybe we should take it down to Alford Tire and Service Center, and maybe they can figure out what's going on. At Alford Tire and Service Center, we provide peace and quiet with the radio off. So if your car is making a strange noise, come and see us for your free visual safety inspection today. Located on Tyndall Parkway in beautiful Callaway, we do it all at Alford Tire and Service Center.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top-choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they'll get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's begin.
Trip. The Afternoon Underdog Trip. Live and local. Inside the Talk House.
Unleash the dragon.
On the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on with ya, Panama City? You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here in the Doghouse. David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. You can give them a call at 850-747-3815. I love this intro song,
music.
right? Yeah, man. It just makes me want to
Walkout music.
Yeah. It makes me want to go to cbcconstruction.com and get a job. They're looking for good employees, not a few good men. They're looking for some good employees. So go to cbcconstruction.com. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and over there on Twitch. You can like and share the Facebook feed and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also download the app and register. Just go to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Caveman Rick, we are experiencing once again here in Panama City some amazing weather. How's your day been to this point?
It's been great, man. Out of work. Now we're doing this, hanging out, talking sports. It's Friday. Masters is on. Looking at that, man. So we got that going on this weekend. So you brought this up, about the music, your intro music. So let me ask you this. If you were in MLB or if you were a fighter or what have you, would that be your walk-up music, or would you have
that right there? No, absolutely not. I don't even know how that ended up becoming the intro song. Honestly, I think I was listening to it because Mac Miller has a remix with that being like the sample. Okay. And so I think that's where I went to the original music for that. My walk-up song, man. That would be, I think your Facebook's on over there. Man, walk up song.
I'll tell you what, mine's, if I was
I would
like
to have a rotation of like 4, but go ahead.
I got 3, okay? Right. So my 3, none of them got any lyrics, too. They're just music.
Just music. That's impressive.
So just music.
I'm a lyrics guy.
All 3 of them, I think, like, if you know the tunes, if you hear them, you know the future is not looking good for you, all right? So the 3, in any particular order, too, it really doesn't matter. But the 3 that I like is, so Darth Vader's theme, the Imperial March from Star Wars, bum, 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 bum. You hear that coming, you're like, hey, man, like, I'm fixing
This
to get
guy's going to shut us
sliced
down.
by a lightsaber. Somebody's going to force choke me to death, right? Next one, man, classic, but the dum from Jaws.
Oh, Jaws.
Dum.
Isn't that wild that we've got Baby Shark walk-up music before we've gotten Jaws. Not saying that we
maybe
have.
so. Somebody might have. I don't know.
Right.
But I would do that because you hear that theme, man. You got to think, dude, you're done. You're going to get ate by a shark. And then the third one, only ringtone I got on my phone, but it's the theme from Halloween, Michael Myers. You hear that too, it's over, man. Boogeyman's getting you. Game over.
That to me is funny just because I've heard that and I know, like, is that or is it not a specific person in your phone who has
that's everybody.
Okay,
it doesn't matter who it is. Like seriously,
I thought there was a specific
before
I
even got a cell phone, and this was literally this was like in 2000, I think, or something. When I was going to school for becoming an EMT, I was doing my clinicals, and a paramedic, he actually had it on his phone. Now I was doing this in the fall time, right? So it might have been just because it was like the season Halloween kind of thing, but that was his ringtone, and I just thought that sounded so dope. I was like, man, when I get a cell phone. And then I did. And ever since, I haven't wavered. I haven't had nothing else on there. I mean, I've had maybe a couple other here and there, but my, number one on it all the time for 99% of like callers and everything I've had, it's been, Halloween.
You brought up school right there, and in high school, that's when the ringtones became such a popular thing, like being able to download your own. I remember just going to, I think it was Mixer.com, and you would download the song that you wanted, turn it into a ringtone, whatever specific part of the song. Now it's so much easier to do that, but the good old days of having the custom ringtones.
I like the 8-bit ones too, like from Nintendo, like if you convert them to an 8-bit sound, something like that. Yeah.
Maybe that would be my walk-up song.
Super Mario.
Yeah, but it would be like when you get the star.
Oh, okay, yeah, when it's real fast. Okay. That might be cool. Yeah.
No, I think, man, it would be so tough. I would like to have a rotation, but I don't. Man, I'll go with a song that I've heard recently. That is, I was telling you about. Forrest Frank is a great. Christian artist, and he's got this song called Drop, and there's one singular bar in there that I'm like, man, this verse is so great just because of this one bar, and so I think I would go with that. Then I would have in there in a mixture. Oh, it's so tough because you got to have something that, as you mentioned, man, it's got to be somewhat intimidating or at least gets the crowd going. It can't just be because you like this song.
Right.
Like Freddie Freeman with Charlie, he lets him pick out his songs, and a lot of them are songs that Charlie doesn't even understand the lyrics to.
That's his kid?
Well, and yes, that's his kids, but not just can he not understand it because, it's not like the lyrics are risque. It's because they're in Spanish. So it's like,
wow, okay.
You definitely don't understand that. 850-215-6290. I'm right there with you, Nick Baldwin. He says, I don't think I've had my phone off silent this decade. I've had it a couple of times. Most of the time is if it's charging and I'm in the middle of some certain conversation or whatever that may be. But yeah, I keep my phone on silent 99.9%.
Mine is a lot of the time too, yeah.
Yeah. Man, beautiful afternoon. Taking your calls, 850-215-6290. We will get a Masters update. Yesterday we were saying not just a Masters update of what's going on the golf course right now with Justin Rose still leading, but a update of our fantasy group, which... Earlier when I looked, I think I moved up to 24th, but looks like Doc A is in the lead
He's
right now.
He's been in the lead the whole time, too.
Yeah, I'm going to have to log in. So we'll do that at 4:40. We'll get an update for the Masters Fantasy group that we got going on. $100 to Golf Plus on the line. Great golf balls. You've got the pimento cheese golf putter cover and a pimento cheese towel. It's so much fun having Alan Watson on the line with us. What a great show it was yesterday, honestly. Having Alan Watson, then Sam Peebles, then Zubin Mehenti, and then wrapping up the show with a great topic that Chef Ross had brought to the forefront. So appreciate any of you who were listening for the full 2 hours. And what happens this afternoon, Caveman Rick, at 5:40.
We're doing the race to Talladega, so be listening for that race name that you might have gave earlier today at the Coach James Hale show this morning. And when you hear that name, give us a call. And however long it takes you to call in is your qualifying time. Right now, the quickest still is what, Jackson State Jeff at 2 seconds.
Yeah, but it's like we're married or something because he's the one and only now.
The fastest two get to win though. So whoever else gets to call in and be pretty quick, you got a good opportunity.
And when we say that, we're not just saying you get a ticket, he gets a ticket. We're talking about a pair of tickets to multiple races for you. We don't have another qualifier.
That's the whole weekend
to this
too.
point.
It's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you want to go to the Menard Series, you want to go to the Xfinity Series, you want to go to the Cup Series, all three of those. The Garage Experience, I believe, is included. Don't quote me on that. But this is we're talking about one of the most premier races on the NASCAR circuit. And all you have to do is listen to the Coach James Hale show Monday through Friday at 7:15 and 8:15. When you hear a code word that they'll give out at those times, like Caveman Rick said, you just text it into us. But you got to call. Give us a call when you hear your name. All right, we've got Philadelphia Philly Caveman Rick in the building, but last night at 11:53 p.m., which I was not awake for.
I was sleeping.
I don't think you were awake for. I don't know if Bone Crusher was awake for it or not. But, you were?
I go to bed about 3 or 4 in the morning.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, man, I meant to talk to you earlier. I wanted to play that soundbite that you had posted on the ESPN Northwest Florida page. Marcell Ozuna with a walk-off home run last night. There was a 2-hour and 45-minute rain delay. The game ended at 11:53 with a 2-run shot there from Marcell Ozuna. That was absolutely huge for the Braves to get their third win of the season, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays this evening. Coverage will be starting right after the Afternoon Underdogs. Originally, when I got the Braves schedule, it said that they were going to be, that first pitch was tonight at 5:50, but I guess that's moved up to 6:05, so we will just be ending our show at the normal time this evening, at 6 o'clock, 5:57 rather. So make sure you keep it locked in to the Afternoon Underdogs for the duration of the show, and then transition right into the Atlanta Braves. Ronald Acuna Jr. has a knee evaluation coming up. It's a critical evaluation as well because it's about that surgically repaired left knee that's going to be in L.A. next week. He has resumed batting practice, and clearance for base running is pending. James Fife chiming in on the Facebook feed saying, "Sup, dudes." He did a wonderful job this afternoon hosting the Inside Drive. Now, I got a couple of things to bring up with you, Caveman Rick. There was a recent fan poll which revealed a near split on whether the Braves will get past 88.5 wins this season. 51% of the fans were optimistic despite the 2-8 at the time, now 3-8 record. My question to you is, how do you feel? 88.5, it has to be about the Braves right now, and not from the Philly perspective, just from how do you feel about 88.5 wins? Do you think that they can pass that? My early season prediction was 97 wins. I don't think they're going to hit that, but I still do feel like they will end up with more than 88.5 wins this year. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, if the original over and under, like you were saying, was up in the mid-90s, you probably got to think that even with this slow start, that they'll probably end up breaking the 88.5. So I'll probably say that they'll be over that. Maybe not too much more than that. Maybe they'll get to 90. It's a slow start, yeah, that can happen. Start off slow, but still, end up making the playoffs. That's all contingent on division you play and how the rest of the teams in your division do, especially because the schedule is more spread out now than it used to be. So you're not confined to just getting stuck in a hole in your division, say against a couple teams, and then kind of having a lackluster season just like a month and a half into a season just because you dug yourself, a big enough hole that you're down double digits, in the division. So I'm going to say yes at this point just because their lineup's pretty decent. They got, a lot of good players. Just as long as you guys can stay away from that injury bug. Unfortunately, it still has been stinging you a little bit this year,
It is. I wish it was one of those bumblebees that once it stung, it kind of, that's it. That's the rest of the injury bug. But no, it has been more like a hornet or a wasp and just continuously stinging us.
So saying all that, though, I think you guys got a good opportunity. I mean, you can't be, the laws of averages, you would think, have got to go the other way, right?
Yeah.
And the injury bug kind of has to go away. So because of that, too, and it's a long season, I think, you guys water will find its point. It's evening out level. Bad start, starting out, but who knows, you guys might cruise late in the season and then have a bunch of winning streaks.
Hey, there you go. With that rain delay last night, I do like the Braves to get over 88.5 wins, but a long season, we'll see how it plays out. The Braves are at 3-8 right now. There were people saying last night with the rain delay that the MLB mishandled the rain delay because they say that it should have been suspended and resumed later because both teams had to get on the road, and it did not end until Eastern Time Zone, 12:53. What do you think about that? I mean, when that's a long rain delay. But also, if you can get the game finished, and I feel like if both managers have no issue with waiting it out and playing it, I don't have a big issue with it. What's your stance on this game,
I think the same thing. I mean, you had an opportunity to finish the game. Who's to say you're not going to have a bunch of other games later on that are going to get rained out for sure, and there's no opportunity at all whatsoever to get the game in, and then you're just playing games late in the season, having to make up days, kind of like at school. Had a bunch of snow or weather days. Now we're going past the actual date we're supposed to be done for the year. So because of that, and they're already pushing it now, playing so late, in the season that, we have, World Series baseball in November when it can possibly be snowing at a few parks. I mean, hell, we just had a snow game. What was it, between the Yankees and Detroit earlier in the week? So I think you want to avoid that. It's not, good. It's not conducive for baseball weather. So I think if you have an opportunity to get it in like they did last night, you should. They got the tarps down pretty quick last night, so that helped out a bunch. Do got to say one thing about, I didn't actually hear it during the game. It must have happened later on, but one of the Braves announcers, I don't know if it was on radio or TV, was referencing Bryce Harper's oven mitt for when he was running the base pads.
A little long in the tooth, huh?
And no, they made the comment that he had Oscar the Grouch on his hand. And I mean, the Philly Fanatic's probably the most well-known, baseball, mascot out there, if not mascot, period. And then for them to reference Oscar the Grouch, that's either a sad mistake or you're really just hating.
I was about to say, what if he was throwing a little bit of shade there?
I don't know. I mean, Oscar the Grouch, fair enough. I don't got a problem with him, man. I thought Oscar the Grouch was a great character.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
Outside of Philadelphia area, too, there's an amusement park dedicated to Sesame Street called Sesame Place. Used to have season tickets to that place when I was a kid. So, hey, I got to meet Oscar the Grouch and, snuffle up against and all them.
Yeah, it is absolutely Philly Fanatic. I mean, I don't know why you would second guess that. Not you, but but and I would imagine, being that these guys see a lot of those oven mitts, that it was more throwing shade more so than anything.
Well, and Harper also has the Fanatic reference sometimes on his cleats, on his bandana that he wears on his head. He's even had Philly Fanatic themed bats before. So, I mean, this isn't the first go-around for him wearing anything themed that way. And as many times as the Phillies have seen the Braves, and as long as Bryce Harper's been a Philly now, really no excuse.
No excuse at all. James 5 says, I would rather wait 3 hours than try to find a time and date to finish later. 850-215-6290. We're taking your calls and your text. Ooh, caddy of Happy Gilmore, Will Zalatoris is 6 over right now on the 18th hole. The Atlanta Braves taking on the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. Going to be Bryce Elder going for the Braves tonight. AJ Smith-Shawver going tomorrow night. First time and possibly the last time that the Atlanta Braves will be playing a major league game inside of Steinbrenner Stadium. So if you have the opportunity to get down there, go check it out. All right, Caveman Rig Joe Flacco is back with the Cleveland Browns. What does Flacco's return mean for the Browns quarterback situation, which is now Deshaun Watson injured, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco, and they don't have DTR. He's an Eagle now. Yep. So
Yeah, so just Kenny Pickett and him pretty much. It's wins for the Browns. I mean, Joe Flacco is a serviceable quarterback. We've seen what he can do, especially coming back into the league. So, I mean, if you're a Browns fan, I think that's one little thing to be optimistic about. So now you got Myles Garrett locked up for a long time. And he does technically have, again, a Super Bowl winning quarterback in the quarterback room. At first, the joke was because Kenny Pickett technically won a Super Bowl with the Eagles this past year. Rightly so. He did get some playing time. He played in a couple handful of plays towards the end of that game, but now a legitimate bona fide starter that won a Super Bowl will also be, quarterbacking for the Browns. So, like I said, something to look forward to. I'm kind of curious to see, what kind of record they can put up, and it's going to be still a tough division, having to go against Baltimore, Cincinnati, Steelers, probably going to be improved now too with their quarterback situation and wide receivers now too, having maybe better options at quarterback.
We saw Joe Flacco with the Browns a couple years ago and what he was able to do. Then he goes over there to the Colts, and kind of spot holds a little bit there for Anthony Richardson. But an interesting move. I think the Browns needed to do something. Now, does Flacco really have that much in the tank? We'll see. He was the comeback player of the year that year, right? So there's a possibility he has enough in the tank, but we'll just have to wait and see. How do you think that this move impacts the strategy for the Browns, not only for the draft that's coming up, but for the season coming up?
Still, again, I think it's more W's. You're going to have to, obviously, you got... passing the ball shouldn't be as much of a problem.
Do they go after a quarterback, do you think? In the draft?
I would say no. I would say if you're Cleveland, no. I would stay away from that. I mean, they've done so horribly in drafting quarterbacks through the years. I think if you want to get somebody, try to find a free agent or
they got one, Joe Flacco.
Yeah, well, maybe a younger player.
Gotcha.
Again, with the history and the track record they have, it's why would you do that? I mean, I understand they probably have to. It's something that you might want to look at doing because, on a long enough timeline, right? I mean, you're due, I guess. But how many of these quarterbacks that did they draft that potentially could have been great quarterbacks had they just not been drafted by the Cleveland Browns and get thrown in that situation?
Right.
You kind of have to wonder about that too. So because of that, I would say, no, man, they try to figure it out a different way. Even if it's an undrafted player that you can kind of bring in and then you can try to develop. But wasting draft picks on the draft on a quarterback, to me, it just seems like just a waste of time if you're a Browns.
You heard it here. You heard it here first from Caveman Ray. We got a lot to dive into. Andrew Weiss is going to talk some NHL with us coming up next. Then Johnny Yankee is going to join us and get us all caught up on UFC 314. I've got a lot of questions for him and a lot of questions for Andrew. And we'll take your questions as well. 850-215-6290 here on the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a moderate breeze around 16 miles per hour coming out of the west-northwest and temps near 75. Tonight we will have clear skies and a wind speed of 13 miles per hour and be warm at 57. Sunny tomorrow and a high 71 with a gentle breeze. Sunshine Sunday with a temp of 72. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
That boot store invites you to think outside the box this Easter by going Western for your Easter outfit. From the smallest to the largest and famous name brands, sizes, styles, and colors. From pants to shirts to belts and boots for guys and gals, the perfect Easter outfit is waiting for you. So this Easter, dress up the whole family by shopping That Boot Store. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Burr Kia 15th Street, Panama City. That Boot Store, where God is good all the time.
The quest to regain the division crown starts now. So be here for every huge moment of the Braves 2025 season.
Swung on, lifted towards center field. That might get down. Diving catch and caught by Michael Harris.
Tonight, the Braves are back on the road, this time for an interleague battle with the Tampa Bay Rays, live from Steinbrenner Field in Tampa.
Braves coverage coming up at 6 tonight on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs on the Sports Talk Monster.
You're gonna be mine. Woo!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're 10 toes down here in the doghouse, or maybe you would say 10 claws down. I don't know how you'd like to put it, but whatever way it goes, that is the way we go. You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs here. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick, Johnny Yankee Seed, and we've got the Bone Crusher, as always, doing a great job for us back there, keeping us on our toes, no doubt about that. Live from the CBC Construction Studios, and you can give them a holler online at cbcconstruction.com by filling out an application, putting in your resume, all that good stuff, and getting you a good job. You can also call them at 850-747-3815. That is cbcconstruction.com. We've got about an hour and 16 minutes or so before we get to the race to Talladega, but now we've got Andrew Weiss on the line. He is our Lightning/NHL aficionado. Andrew, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great, guys. How we doing?
Awesome, man. Glad to have you.
What part of the country are you in right now?
Oh, I'm in beautiful Tampa, Florida, of course.
There you go, man. Well, it's we've got some nice weather up this way. How's the weather down there in sunny Tampa?
It's not too bad. It's just cool enough that I can walk outside and not turn to a puddle in 5 minutes, and just warm enough that I'm terrified of doing that in 10 minutes. So.
There you go, man. Up here, I took a nice little brisk walk this afternoon, and I really didn't have that much sweat. And so you know how it goes when you take a walk, and then after you're done walking, that's when the sweat pummels you a little bit. But that's how nice the weather is up this way. Andrew, Alexander Ovechkin has passed the Great One. Give us your perspective, your take on one of the biggest feats in hockey.
I mean, honestly, it's one of the most impressive records that we've seen. I mean, growing up, you're always told that you can't wear 99. He's the greatest player of all time, Wayne Gretzky. All of his records are untouchable. You know, he put up all these points, all this, and obviously with reason, right? Like, he's still the Great One. He's still the greatest of all time. But now when you ask, okay, who's the greatest goal scorer of all time? For me, for quite a bit, it's been Ovechkin. I'm not going to pretend like, back in 2010 I'm saying this. But within the last few years, it became more increasingly obvious that this is a guy who is just consistently a phenomenal goal scorer. I mean, he didn't have the highs of the Gretzky era, some of those guys putting up, 60, 70, 80. He wasn't doing that every single season, but he's hitting 20 goals a year, 30 goals a year, 40 goals a year, 50 goals a year. He's winning Rocket Richards in an era in which it was incredibly difficult to score. The average save percentage between today's game and when Gretzky played is, 20 points higher, 30 points higher? So it's even harder to score nowadays, and defenders are much better, goalies are much better. you really do have to have some talent to score. And, we always joke, here's a guy that stood in the left circle for 20 years and, that's all he did. But it's like, all right, well, after some time, how do you stop it? Like, you could be as close as you want to him. If you don't get a stick on the puck, he's scoring a goal. And the consistency is what impressed me the most. I think guys like Austin Matthews, his 69-goal year last year, phenomenal year, great goal scorer. People ask, do you think Matthews could hit his number? No, I don't. Because Matthews is not consistent. He's injury-prone, relatively speaking, to what Ovechkin's gone through, the amount of games he's played, how consistent he's been, scoring goals. That's a record that's going to take a long, long time to break if it does.
All right, and I was saying that, Andrew, do you think there's anybody who's in the league now that's playing that can surpass, Ovechkin? You obviously said no to Austin Matthews.
Which was our next question, by the way.
Or like, maybe one of the kids that just came into the league, like, my guy, Matt V. Mitchkoff, or like somebody like Macklin Celebrini who got a hat trick the other night.
To be honest with you, I don't. It's so hard just because of the fact that, like, Ovechkin, he's scoring 50 or 60, 40 a minimum, basically, every year, even with the lockout years. Like, if you consider his numbers now, he had, a lockout-shortened season back in, 12-13, 11-12? I think it was 12-13. Lockout-shortened season, COVID-shortened season. His I believe his rookie year was the later year because of the original lockout back in 04-05. I could be off by a year. I could be wrong on that. But either way, the point is he's had games missed not because of what he's done, injury or anything like that, but just because of random NHL circumstance. I don't see that being an issue for a lot of these guys. The difference is Ovechkin's just so consistent every year. It's so hard to be that consistent all the way to his age now. He's such an elite shot. I really do think if anyone's going to do it, it is Matthews, just in terms of sheer scoring ability and how many goals he's put up at such a young age already. But he's got to stay healthy and consistent. Like this year he's been playing, I think he's banged up. I think his numbers are very suppressed because he's hurt. He's playing through an injury. That happens. He could come back next year and end up tearing off 10 straight 60-goal years. And then it's like, all right, well, now we have a conversation to have. But it's so hard to be that consistent. Ovechkin had the perfect storm of he missed very, very few games over 20 years with I can count on less than a full season missed the games, right? Steven Stamkos and Ovechkin were going head toe to toe for Rocket Richard trophies before Stamkos' big injury, and now Stamkos had a bunch of them. Like that happens in hockey, guys get injured. So it's not, to me, it's not necessarily about the natural goal scoring ability. I think Matthews has a great shot in general. I think David Pasternak's a great shooter. Leon Draisaitl's putting up a bunch of goals, but it's just so hard to be consistent the way Ovechkin's done it from 18 to 38. It's like, all right, at some point, guys start to drop off, and as Alex Ovechkin once said, way back in the late 2010s, late 2000s, whatever, Russian machine never breaks, and he just never did.
Yeah, all with one team, too.
Yeah, I know. That's the most impressive part. Which that team that he's with right now is best in the Eastern Conference and just trails the Winnipeg Jets. Could you see Ovechkin retiring if the Washington Capitals were able to hoist the Stanley Cup this year?
I think he's mentioned before that before he stops playing hockey, he wants to go back to Russia and play for his hometown team. I don't know if that's for a season, or a few seasons, whatever it might be. To me, that's the big wild card. I think if they win the Cup, there's certainly that possibility. As a hockey fan alone, I would love to see him go for 1,000 goals because he's so close to 900 now. I don't anticipate him getting 50 goals a year for 2 seasons and hitting it in 2 seasons, but give him 3 more years, 3 years, 30-something goals a year. I mean, he could hit us. He could be the first 1,000-goal scorer in NHL history. Now, I know he's the leading goal scorer of all time, but don't you want to pad your record a little bit, make sure you're safe from anyone else? Like he's not done scoring yet. We're talking about Matthews and all these other guys that come in and potentially score, but like Ovechkin's number is not done yet. He could add some more goals to his total. So I think it just depends. At some point, everyone gets tired. Everyone's like, all right, I'm ready, or their body breaks down. Unless you're Jaromir Jagr, but I would love to see Ovechkin play 3 more years after this and hit 1,000 goals. I think that would be an incredible accomplishment.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. This is Braves country, and the Braves' next game is tonight here on ESPN Northwest Florida, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays over there at George Steinbrenner Field. I have a suspicion of what your answer is going to be on this one, but LeBron James, what was it, last year, the year prior, passes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Alexander Ovechkin passing Wayne Gretzky. Which of those feats do you find more impressive? It took a lot of longevity, and some people kind of discredit LeBron for how long he's played, but, at the same time, Ovechkin, who was able to surpass Wayne Gretzky in the same amount of games, which is probably one of the more impressive pieces of that record. But which one to you is more impressive? LeBron James doing it in the NBA or Ovechkin doing it in the NHL?
I want to preface my answer by saying genuinely they're both incredibly impressive, because to me the hardest thing you can do in professional sports is have both longevity and consistency. There are guys who play a long time and have a great start to their career, they peter down a bit, and then they're just guys that are hanging around. There are guys who are consistent year over year, very talented, whatever, but they don't last that long. It's extremely hard to, over the course of 2 decades for both of these guys, 2 decades, be elite at their sport. And so, just longevity alone, I'm not going to go give Udonis Haslem or Patrick Marleau a significant amount of flowers just because of longevity. I'm still going to give them flowers, but I'm not going to do it at the same level. Just like, a lot of people be like, okay, Mike Bossy, incredible goal scorer. And again, not to take it away from him, incredible goal scorer, but didn't have the longevity of Ovechkin. People will say, oh, Bossy was a more natural, better goal scorer, greatest goal scorer of all time. And you can make that argument. I lean Ovechkin just because of the consistency every single year. Staying healthy is so hard to do. And you can't control that all the time. You can't blame Bossy for his injuries. But to me, that they're both so impressive between LeBron and Ovechkin. It's very much a very similar record. And obviously it's goals, it's points, it's same in that regard, but just in terms of having to be consistent for so long. Like, you can't just shine bright for, 10 seasons and hit that number. You can still be very impressive, but you can't hit that number exactly. So I think what LeBron James did is extremely impressive. I think the game's a little different. I can't speak significantly to basketball. I think the game's a little bit different just because three-pointers were not as big when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was around. Like, the game's changed a little bit to me to make it easier to score nowadays compared to back then in basketball, whereas hockey's the other way around. So, for me, I look at it as I think Ovechkin's is more impressive just because it's harder to score now, whereas in basketball, I think the point scoring's gone up compared to where it was. I could be wrong on that. Someone can fact check me, but I think it's just so much harder to score goals now. And Ovechkin, and everyone's like, oh, Ovechkin's one-trick pony, he's in the same spot. But they haven't stopped him for 20 years.
Right.
So at some point, it's like, holy cow, like, he's doing this. He's not just getting empty netters. It's a lot of power play, but it's not just power play. He's doing it. He's being healthy. He's not skipping games because of load management or, I need a night off or this or that. He's playing all the games. And also, he's what, third all-time in hits? Mm-hmm. Like, he's a machine. So I got to give it to Ovechkin.
Hey, Andrew, first I'll start by saying, great answer, but, I think you're being really nice there for not crushing LeBron. I think it's extremely harder for what Ovechkin was doing. Same team. He wasn't picking and choosing the players that were around him like a LeBron James, making sure he had superstars playing with him alongside him the whole entire way. He's been fortunate to have a handful of decent players, or pretty good players throughout the years, all those years in Washington. But he didn't leave to win a cup. He stayed there and, won a cup a few years ago. So, kudos to him for being able to do that. It is pretty hard to do what he's, doing. I hope he does end up doing something like a Jaromir Jagr and keep playing for a while, or like a Gordie Howe. Be kind of cool to see if his body can handle it, Eventually, like you, I think he will be playing overseas, kind of like a Jagr, maybe for like his own team, actually, or like own his own club, and then end up just being some kind of oligarch over there like Putin. But I think, or he'll get into politics or something. I think believe that he's got that kind of personality and whatnot. I can definitely see him doing that kind of thing over there. So, but moving on, now that storyline's over with Ovechkin being able to do that this season, which is probably better for him in the NHL in the grand scheme of things, instead of carrying it over till next season, while the NHL has the ability to have a lot of eyes on it right now. But what do you think is now like the biggest or best storyline or narrative in the NHL world right now?
I mean, it's got to be the playoffs, which is such a cop-out answer. But, I mean, this is the time of year where everyone's locked in, the playoffs are building. And I say that just because of the fact that make me do math now, in about, 9 months, we're going to have Olympic hockey. And the Four Nations was such a launching pad for hockey. A lot of people who don't normally jump in, for many reasons, it was a big deal. That you can lean and say, okay, well, there's the political factor, there's the rivalry factor of U.S.-Canada. In hockey alone, there's the factor of the fact that it was on North American soil, so you have local crowds, there's a much better atmosphere. I think the Olympic crowds are not going to be nearly the same. I don't think there's going to be, obviously there's not going to be any physicality or fighting, because it's the Olympics, but more eyes are on hockey right now than they have been the past few years because of that event. And the playoffs has always been in a time of year where more people tune into the sport. The NHL needs this playoff year to be big, to build that momentum. And I remember reading, and obviously I wasn't necessarily around for all this, but I remember reading about how when the NHL had the Rangers winning the Cup back in 1994, it was like the biggest talking point in sports, and the NHL had passed the NBA. It was a conversation. The NHL's passing the NBA. You got rappers wearing NHL jerseys and music artists, and it's on national TV, all these different things. It's like NHL's finally growing and blowing up, and they have a lockout. They lost all the momentum. You have momentum now, not to the same extent, but you have so much momentum right now. You need to capitalize on it for the NHL. These games, they need to be spread out on national TV where people can watch and tune in and care and really want to lock in with either their favorite team or a new team if they're new to hockey. They haven't checked it out before. And these games need to be good games. You can't have 6-2. You can't have 7-1. You got to have. You can't have 4-game sweeps. You got to have some bloody battle series all across the East and West, and really draw people in to this beautiful game. And that's what the NHL needs. Obviously, the games will be played out. You can't control it. You have to see what happens. But having it line up, as a Lightning fan, I don't want to have a Lightning Panthers first round series just because it had it so many times and it's such a bloodbath and it's stressful as a fan, but it's also really fun to watch. So hockey, Battle of Florida, Battle of Alberta, having Ottawa and Toronto, having all these series where there could be a lot of bad blood and really close rivalries and great atmospheres and great crowds in arenas. And hockey needs that. So right now, to answer your question in a long-winded way, as per usual, the playoffs have to be the big conversation, and then it builds into the Olympics next year when you can really get that national pride and cheer for NHL players for the first time in the Olympics since 2014 and having some actual, some build-up to that. I think the NHL really needs to have that, and then they can play into it and lean into that Olympic angle from the beginning of the next regular season all the way until February.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Andrew Weiss joins us on the line talking all things NHL. We'll switch gears to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Give me your best and worst case scenario for the Lightning's first round opponent.
I hate doing it because I don't want to say a best case scenario and they end up playing that team, they end up losing that team.
Yeah, but hey, we're putting you on the spot.
I've done that before, and it's just heartbreaking. But I'm gonna cop out again. I'm gonna rephrase it as the best case scenario would be for the Lightning to win the Atlantic Division and not have to deal with a Toronto or Florida. Not because other teams will be, an easy win, an easy series, but just because those are teams that match up extremely well with the Lightning, one, and also two, would lead to some very intense rivalry games where there is already a history. You're going to get beat up. The winner that comes out of the series is going to be beat up and bruised. And you want to, it's a war of attrition in the playoffs. I still think the Lightning win 3 straight Stanley Cups if Braden Point doesn't get hurt against Toronto back in 2022. So, it's tough because it's a war of attrition, but it's also like you can't overlook any opponent. So, like, even if they face an Ottawa or Montreal in the first round, which, to be honest, the only options now seems to be Ottawa or Florida. So in those situations, it'd be easy to say Ottawa's the best case, Florida's the worst case. They're not going to face Toronto. They're not going to face Montreal. It's really those only two options, depending on where they finish, first or second, or possibly even third if they really fall apart. But the best case scenario is to avoid those Toronto, Florida slugfests. And the worst case scenario would be to falter down the stretch and not have home ice in the first round, whether it's against Toronto, Florida, whatever. Finishing third in the division, starting on the road. They need to stay. They've been much better at home this year than on the road. I looked it up really quickly. Just remember their home record was phenomenal, and the road record was like 500. So at home, the Lightning are 27-8-3. On the road, they're 18-18-4, which looks like it's 500, but actually it's a fake 500. Where if you really look at it, they've won 18 of the games, they've lost 22 of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of important to really, like, they've been really good at home ice. So you got to lock in at minimum the second spot in the division. They're only 1 point ahead of Florida. They do have a game in hand. But right now, you have a Detroit team that is fighting for a playoff spot that is probably eliminated with any day now. Like they're not going to make the playoffs unless a miracle happens. So they're not really in the running. The Rangers, next week it's the same thing. Buffalo on Sunday, it's the same thing. Like these are teams that, maybe they're still, Buffalo's not, but maybe these other teams, like technically they're still alive, but they're not. They're dead. You got to take care of business against those teams. So having home ice would be huge for them in the first round, one way or another. Preferably on top of the Atlantic would be my answer for best case. Worst case is having to start on the road, one way or another.
And then my last question for you before we let you go: are the Lightning legitimate contenders this year?
Absolutely. This is a team that has had Andre Vasilevsky round back into form. He's been statistically number one or number two in terms of almost every category in the NHL in goaltending since January 1st. Over the course of the whole season, he's top 5, not top 3. So essentially, year-round, he's been a phenomenally strong goaltender. And when you have good goaltending, you can win any game, whether you get outplayed or not. So having that first and foremost is huge. The defense is deeper than last year. It's still, to me, a big weakness on the third pairing. Lilberg, Perbix, Radish, any combination of the three, it's a weakness. It is. So that part's a little tougher, but it's still a much better core. Having McDonough back is such a big thing for this team. It does so much for them defensively. And the forward group's deeper than it was begin the year. It's still a little top-heavy. It's still pretty reliant on the power play. But they score really well. They defend really well. The power play is good. Penalty kills just about average. Losing Luke Glendening kind of hurts your big face-offs, your penalty kills, that kind of thing. But hopefully he'll be back for the playoffs. But in general, this is a team that absolutely can win series. It's hard to bet against Andre Vasilevsky in the playoffs when he's feeling it. And any team that's going up against him knows that. So you have to try to hope to get him off his game. But if he's on his game, good luck. Whether you're the first round series or the last series of the year, it's tough to beat him when he's playing well.
Andrew, that is great stuff. As always, you bring the hot takes the hot stuff to the table, and we look forward to chatting with you throughout the playoff run this year, and just keeping us up to date on what's going on in the NHL. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy the rest of that good Tampa weather, my friend.
I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, always a pleasure to be on the show, and happy to chat hockey with you guys anytime.
There we go. Andrew Weiss, ladies and gentlemen. Go give him a follow if you want some good memery on Twitter. Go follow Andrew Weiss on Twitter. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Let's play a little trivia when we get back.
The Atlanta Braves are back.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
And ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for Braves country.
He just wrecked that thing. Straight away center, a homer for Riley.
Sales, Strider, Acuna, Ozzie, Riley, Profar, and Coach Snitker lead a stellar lineup. Listen live nights and weekends on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a moderate breeze around 16 miles per hour coming out of the west-northwest and temps near 75. Tonight, we will have clear skies and a wind speed of 13 miles per hour and be warm at 57. Sunny tomorrow and a high 71 with a gentle breeze. Sunshine Sunday with a temp of 72. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
You've found us inside the CBC Construction Studios for the A.
Deep right center field, and is gone!
Your spot for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Listen live nights and weekends. This is Braves Country. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
That level, dude, and brought us back down to zero.
You guys are on. Yeah,
awesome.
If y'all want to stop talking and
We're doing a radio show here?
Stop talking and start talking.
Stop talking to start talking. Caveman Rick is we're going off on artificial intelligence here in the building.
Rise of the machines, man. You seen Terminator, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but there's a little bit of a difference in something that can have a gun.
Not really, man. Like that's how it all starts on the computer, man. Like on some software.
With reproducing dire wolves is what it starts with.
I mean, there's been enough movies and stuff, and I mean, I don't want to say like life ends up being a movie, but it's been enough situations and scenarios out there that people should be terrified. I mean, we got AI. Yesterday we were talking about bringing back extinct species on the planet, and I mean, we can't even get the stuff right that we got going on now. We want to bring other stuff in this world to make it suffer. Like, come on, man. Get this stuff right first.
Come on, man. No doubt. Ryan Mathis texted in earlier. He said, I don't want to go into his text because I don't know if that was meant for the public or not, but it just kind of had to do with the final segment of yesterday's show. But shout out to Ryan and Brooke, great friends of the show. We appreciate you guys so much for listening. He said, hedgehog burgers forever, which had me a hedgehog burger this afternoon of the garlic butter bacon variety. So that was pretty good. It's not actually
real hedgehogs.
No,
man.
No.
You got to Sega. If you know that, then you know.
Exactly, and I actually have the cup right here in front of me, but we're not giving away any, free advertisements. So, Hedgehog Burger Company, if you'd like to advertise with the Afternoon Underdogs, we would appreciate your business. I know a guy, Michael, actually, let's just go straight through me so I can get a little of the commission there. And if you're listening right now and you have a business and you would like it to be announced here on the Afternoon Underdogs, maybe want to come in and talk some sports with us, give me a holler at 850-215-6290. We can make that happen for you. We are the Braves station here on the Gulf Coast. The Braves are taking on the Rays this evening. Coverage is going to be starting right after the Afternoon Underdogs. First pitch tonight at 6:05. Phil Mickelson looking like a stud, but his golf game is 1 over right now. I want to, before we go into He's also is Fred Couples.
He's like my age.
Fred Couples jammed one in yesterday from 191 yards. You a big golf fan?
No, I don't know enough to speak on it.
You're just looking at the beauty of this course, though. It's immaculate.
Every time I've played, I love it, but I'm not good.
Yeah. With you working at Frank Brown, do you appreciate the greensmanship, if you will? Do y'all do a lot of
dreams and nightmares?
Oh yeah, and do y'all cut a lot of grass, or is it?
We do a lot of sod.
Yeah, do a lot of sod.
Like today, especially as well.
Yeah, throwing a lot, throwing
day,
it, or
every
just
week, every which way.
Every which way, whatever you could think of.
That's right.
We get it done. Johnny Yankee Seed in the building with us. All right, let me pull up this group here right now. Scotty Scheffler is up to 6 under par this evening. Yeah, there you go. So right now in the ESPN Northwest Florida group, you've got Dr. A on top, tied with 2 others. You got Hanlon Masters and Bebo Golf. All of them sit atop the leaderboard at 21 under. Then you have Lindsey Freese at 20 under, along with Adam Golf, Vice Baby, Double Transfusion, Brent R, and then Max's Raiders comes in at 9th place, 18 under, and then POA, Anua Putters at 17 under. Where are you sitting at, K-Man? Right?
Tied for 26 right now at a 62. So not bad. I mean, the top half right now, but it's still early. It's still only day 2, in the Masters. It's all, contingent on who you got. I just need, my guys to make the cut.
Yeah, I've actually got one of the best rounds of everyone today. I'm sitting at 14 under for the entire tournament, but I was 1 over yesterday and 15 under today, sitting in 19th place. So if you'd like to know where you're sitting at and you don't know how, you can either go to masters.com and click on your league, or you can call us here on the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to be talking a lot about UFC 314. I believe next Friday we're going to be going pretty heavily into WrestleMania for the second hour of the show. We'll have Brian Haddad and Jimmy and Monty and Pharaoh, if you will. So we'll be talking a lot of wrestling next week. But UFC today, and I'm actually going to be over there at Beatdown at the Beach tomorrow night because of the owner of Golf Plus, Alan Watson, giving us a spot. Tried to reach out to Johnny Yankee Seed and get him to come. I need one of the biggest UFC fans I know. The guy goes to the theaters to watch the fights and obviously comes on the show to talk about the fights, but he hasn't been in his own backyard to beat down at the beaches, and it is a heck of a time. So looking forward to that. As always, my favorite thing of that is watching Boston Tim do his thing. All right, so trivia question for today. I chat GPT this one as well. Which MLB player holds the record? This is all time. Which MLB player holds the record for the most career triples?
I got an idea. Millennials? They're the ones that always are standing on third base screaming they hit a triple, right?
Yeah.
So
you're saying you're just millennials, all of them put together.
Yeah,
we're gonna give you a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. We're gonna give you $25 to not the but that boot store, and if you're a golf fan, a Golf Plus certificate. If not, we'll throw in a ESPN. Well, we've got the Tommy's Express car washes, or we'll throw you an ESPN Northwest Florida T-shirt. Which MLB player holds the record for the most career triples? 850-215-6290. Ja Morant out there throwing grenades, right? So I've got a couple of questions for you guys. Should the NBA have a say in players' on-court celebrations?
Oh, man, that's kind of tough because you can kind of go down a slippery slope. I guess how we talked about it the other day depends on the situation. If you have a history of having a problem, as opposed, as apparently Ja Morant does, you shouldn't be doing those kinds of things. It's showing that you obviously, don't get it. You don't get that grace or that, freebie because of, stuff that you did in your past, recently that you got in trouble for, that you're supposed to be contrite about. And if anything, it's just showing it's giving the league, like a middle finger, you're making millions and millions of dollars. It goes back to not what Chuck, Charles Barkley said about, not being a role model, basically, what makes me, having to be a role model. And I get that you're not technically having to be one, but if, like they say to people with great, stuff given to you, much is expected out of you, right? So if you're the face of a franchise, you kind of have to go out there, suck it up and do the right thing, especially if you want to be the guy when you guys win, you get all the accolades, you get all the praise. When you lose, a lot of times you get a lot of the grief and whatnot. But if you're going to take those paychecks week after week, month after month, then I think you got to be a little bit more self-aware, and you kind of have to tone things down a little bit, do the right thing. If he doesn't like it, like, they say, in our lives about just driving a car, about it being a privilege. Well, it's not a right to be in the NBA. You're lucky that you're playing in the NBA and they're tolerating your BS. Because obviously if you were a fringe player, a bench player, your ass would probably be fired and you wouldn't have a job right now. And the only reason why they're probably keeping you around is because you are Ja Morant. So
bet your ass.
Just keep that in mind, buddy. That's all I'm saying.
Johnny XT, what do you think? Do you think that the NBA should step in with player celebrations?
I'm a big free speech person.
Yeah.
And
free speech is different than free acts, though, right?
I know, but I say we let him just keep hurting himself and exposing himself. It's one of those things like we shouldn't look up to these people. And
it's easy as, we're grown adults. As kids, though, when we had a favorite player, it was, I'm going to emulate how he wears his pants in baseball. I'm going to wear my pants like that. What do you got?
There's always been bad people in sports. O.J. Simpson, obviously. Yeah. Mike Tyson had his run.
That's why I started wearing gloves that were too big for me, so I could always say that the glove doesn't fit. Even though his was opposite, it was
I think it comes down to, do you know right from wrong?
Yeah.
And they never affected me. I knew they weren't good people.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel, and my thing is that I don't have the biggest issue with y'all doing this outside of the fact of, yes, the track record with Instagram and all of that stuff, it doesn't look the greatest in the world.
Agreed.
However, I'm just so curious as why a whole bunch of white people are up in arms about someone celebrating guns. Like, that is you know what I mean? That seems to go hand in hand.
What's the league? It's not a bunch of white people. He's gotten in trouble with the league.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm talking about the people on Twitter and stuff like that. Yes,
okay,
the league is
league, but okay.
Right. No, the league. That's what the question was. So you are right there. What I'm saying is the people that I'm seeing on Twitter, like, I can't believe. Oh, dadgum, it's already time. All right, hour number 2 coming up next. I just really wanted to say that. So hour 2 coming up next. Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a moderate breeze around 16 miles per hour coming out of the west-northwest and temps near 75. Tonight we will have clear skies and a wind speed of 13 miles per hour and be warm at 57. Sunny tomorrow and a high 71 with a gentle breeze. Sunshine Sunday with a temp of 72. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Hey guys, Mother's Day is coming up on May 11th, but Beach House Florist lets you hit the easy button now for major wow factor. Mom will light up when she sees a thoughtful and unique gift from Beach House Florist, like lovely floral arrangements and gift baskets curated with gourmet delights. Beach House Florist in Panama City Beach, minutes from 38. Show Mom some love with Beach Florist. Order at beachhouseflorist.com or call now, 850-249-5042. That's 850-249-5042.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The quest to regain the division crown starts now. So be here for every huge moment of the Braves 2025 season.
Swung on, lifted towards center field. That might get down. Diving catch and caught by Michael Harris.
Tonight, the Braves are back on the road, this time for an interleague battle with the Tampa Bay Rays, live from Steinbrenner Field in Tampa.
Braves coverage coming up at 6 tonight on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios.
Hi, this is Orlando Magic guard Jalen Suggs. Listen for select Orlando Magic games right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to my boy David Hayes and the Afternoon Underdogs.
What is up, Panama City? You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs here in the Doghouse in the CBC Construction Studios. And you can go to cbcconstruction.com and fill out an application to become an employee there. And from what I've heard, they pay pretty well as well. The work day starts a little earlier, but I can't give you that much details. We're going to have some guys from CBC Construction in the CBC Construction studio with us as Matt Fitzpatrick chipping in there from off the green. Great stuff. CBC Construction Studios, though, 850-747-3815 right here in Braves country on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. The Braves' next game on ESPN is tonight. Coverage starting right after the Afternoon Underdogs. First pitch tonight at 6:05. It's going to be Bryce Elder going for the Braves, and another chip in from Patrick Reed just behind the bunker. I don't even know what hole he was, but he'll move. I guess they're just showing highlights right now because all these guys are just chipping in. I'm like, this is a great affair. I mean, wow. This is this is one of my favorite shots in golf, is when you're off the green and you're able to chip in like that. I don't have many in my, I wouldn't call it career, but my recreational career. In fact, I'm actually going to get out to Old Nature Walk tomorrow morning and try these wrists out, bro. They've been starting to feel good. I can move them, and I'm not having any pain.
You're going to ruin them tomorrow.
Yeah, probably, but brother, I could Johnny Yankee said, I'm not even joking. I couldn't do a push-up for 2 months. I could not. No, seriously. I don't know what it was that was in my wrist, but there was
carpal tunnel.
Could be carpal tunnel, but why would it just go away out of nowhere? You know what I mean? That's what
flared something up.
Yeah, no doubt.
You were typing too fast and you crossed over and
no doubt
something.
I have a couple of theories, but I've been able to do a little bit of push-ups. I've been, you know what I mean, slowly but surely. So I have a golf tournament next weekend for the Mosley football team, so I want to take part in that, but I need to go play to see if I could actually play, so I don't get out there and make a absolute fool of myself. So looking forward to that, hanging out with Dalton Cope and his dad, and then after that I got a big day tomorrow, because after golf then I've got to go to my brother's baby shower, which is cool. I'm going to be an uncle for the first time. I'm really excited about that, and then wrapping it up with a little beat down at the beach Saturday evening. So I got a big day, and then obviously I'll be keeping up with some UFC 314, which is why we have Johnny Yankee Seed. I mean, we'd have Johnny Yankee Seed come in regardless of anything else, but he loves to come in and talk some UFC with us. I got a lot of questions for him. Don't forget, we are about 36 minutes away from the race to Talladega. Which fight is the sleeper banger of the night, Johnny Yankee, when it comes to UFC 314?
I know a lot are leaning towards Michael Chandler versus Patty, but I could see where that might get a little boring. There's a small chance for that. Yeah. I think the Yair Pitbull fight is going to be pretty exciting.
And that's on the main card?
Yes. I think that's the third fight from the end. And I think Yair is just a heavy striker, and then I think Pitbull coming in from Bellator, double champ, I think he wants to make a statement. I think he wants to get after it, so I think that's going to be a good fight.
When I first saw it and it said Pitbull, I'm thinking, wait, Mr. Miami?
Yeah. I've actually seen him fight live once. It was awesome.
Wait, Pitbull?
Patricio Pitbull, yeah. I saw him.
No, but I'm talking about the Pitbull, the artist. Or whatever, yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that he was involved in UFC like that. I think maybe he was in some sort of celebrity boxing match or something.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But Patricio Pitbull.
I watched him. I was at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut and watched him fight for the belt and win.
Oh, how cool is that?
It was awesome. Free fights too. It was free. It was great.
Wow. Yeah. Free all the way across the board?
I did.
Like for everyone?
So the casino just sent me some tickets. And
okay. So it wasn't free for everyone. It was free for you.
It was free for me.
Hey, there you go, man. You gamble enough and you never know what's going to pay off. I mean, does it? Is the payoff exactly equal? I don't know. To our next question, though, who has the stylistic edge between Volkanovski and Lopez?
I'm going to go Lopez, because he's younger and he's the bigger fighter. I think he's hungrier, where Volk's on the He's on the back end. So I think him being the bigger, younger, faster fighter might be potential danger for Volk.
And plus, he's been out for like over a year, right?
Yeah, I mean, and he's coming off some pretty bad losses too. You got to start to question.
Volk's been out for a year?
It might be. It's pretty close. Yeah.
It feels like it wasn't too long ago I was watching him fight.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how my watching UFC, paying attention to it. I normally chime into all of them or tune into all of them, but the ones that stand out to me the most, just kind of like NASCAR, is once football season is on, it's like, man, I don't even retain any of the information. But there was some good fights during this last football season. Do you expect more finishes, or are we going to get decisions, or are we going to get terrible decisions, which is one of the worst things as a fan of the UFC, right?
It's brutal, and it seems to be happening more and more, and it makes me disgusted. But I could see where it could be 50-50 on this card, but I'd like to lean towards finishes because we're due. So I would go with finishes.
Yeah, I think there's been quite a few too, like, questionable type of decisions that I've seen. But like in the UFC, in boxing, it's one thing because it's just punching, right? Mm-hmm. In the UFC, you have so many different angles, takedowns, who's like, more actively doing stuff. Sometimes they're not punching. It might be the kicks that, make you more active and like coming forward. So I think as like a UFC, official, trying to score one of these fights, I think sometimes it can be kind of difficult, trying to pick a side at the end of a round, you know what I mean? Especially the rounds being, 5 minutes instead of 3 minutes.
There you go. According to Johnny Yankee Seed here, which fighter would you say is under the most pressure to deliver a high-quality performance?
I gotta be careful here.
They're not gonna hear you, and if so, I think you can take them.
It's big controversy. It's Bryce Mitchell. I like him as a fighter, but as a human being, man, he really puts his foot in his mouth, and wow, because
it's like Ja Morant and his celebrations, right? It's way worse,
dude. He should have never even; those words should have never came out of his mouth. And Dana White was right to rip into him. But free speech,
Yeah,
he's just been exposed to the world for pretty much being an idiot.
Yeah,
so. Like the guy a lot as a fighter.
I think my worst part about it is like he's claims the believer side of it.
Every controversy, every conspiracy theory, this guy just owns it. He's like, I believe in all of them.
Yeah,
it's just like, bro,
I guess I missed it. What did he say? Is it something we can talk about on the radio now?
Schmittler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Hopefully, you guys.
Right on.
Understand, but basically, I think what was he saying? He was a good guy, or
so I watched most of it.
Kanye West is out there like rocking freaking swastikas and stuff like that right now.
It's brutal. Like
I guess it could be a little bit worse if it was a white person doing that,
but he. I think he was trying to find some light, but unfortunately when a human being is a part of something so bad, you can't even bring any good into that. So he should have just left it alone, and he didn't, and he wasn't smart enough to do that. So
I'll never understand people's take on that. You know what I mean? When you're basically, when someone is the lead of genocide of a race, right? Like, which is what Jewish people are. They are a race of people, and you're in for and you can even if you feel like there's some sort of silver lining somewhere in there, just probably forget that.
Take the exit. Go. Run.
Go left, man. We'd get a lot further in this world rather than looking up to people like that and just loving people how they are to be loved. So Bryce Mitchell is.
He put it on himself.
Yeah, he's under pressure. Who does he have?
Up and coming guy who likes to collect chins. Ruh-roh.
The chin collector.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. We'll talk about all of the fights, but we're going to put a focus on the co-main or the fourth fight, and of course the main event there between Volkanovski and Lopez. Could any winner on this card be next in line for a title shot?
Yes, Pitbull.
Pitbull.
And it would be more if Volk won. If Volk wins, because he's already kind of cleaned out that division and he's fought a lot of those guys. So that's a new spicy matchup. So that would be the one.
All right, there you go. Let's move on here. Do you have any other questions about the card at all? Chandler versus Pimblett. It's been a while since I've seen Patty Pimblett fight. He's a guy that, Meatball Molly is now retired,
yes.
right? So they don't have that same connection that they've had in the past here. Michael Chandler was supposed to fight Conor McGregor. That fell through, so now it's Patty. Patty's stopped eating the pizza, getting back closer to the six-pack, and as soon as the fight's over, he's not working out no more, getting straight back to eating. Is this a make or break for Michael Chandler after the layoff and inactivity?
Yes and no. Yes, because he's got a losing record in the UFC, and he's older.
Which is wild to think about, because I know his nickname is not, but I call him Mighty Mouse, because he just looks like a mouse in there, and he's mighty.
Well, his style is so exciting. He could lose another 5 and still have a job.
Yeah,
like he's fight of the night every night. Like,
right.
He brings the fireworks. So I think as long as he keeps doing that, he'll be fine. But this one in particular, all those other losses he's lost to were like former champs or guys right there on the cusp of being champ. Patty hasn't gotten there yet. So this would be a bad loss for him. So if he loses this one, you could start to make questions like, it's over for Chandler.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
And I think he is the gatekeeper at this point on that division, because he's lost to all the top guys. Like, he's done with them. Like, it's over. So it's exciting fights for him and gatekeeping / just give him some money fights. And Patty's a money fight because Patty brings the eyes.
Right,
so
exactly.
This is what that is.
I love it, man. We're probably going to use up all these questions for the next 2 segments and then make our picks in 540. But whatever you want to get into, if there's anything that you studied real hard on or whatever, and you want to make sure you get that in, we will make sure that happens. How big of a step up is this for Patty, and is he ready for it?
Yes, he's ready for it. He's won every fight he's fought. He surprised me on his last one. He needed the next step up, and this is it. So yes, he deserves it. Is he ready for it? We're gonna find out, because I think his chin is a question, because he keeps it way too high, and this is the guy that likes to go for those chins. So if we're gonna see if he's real or not, it's after this fight. Like if he beats Chandler convincingly, oh boy, we have a contender.
Oh, there you go. So, if Patty does win, do you see him as a real lightweight contender, or is the hype still above his pay grade or above his skill?
He's a contender. If he beats Chandler, and then convincingly, or if he struggles and it's a drag-out 3-round fight where you're like, I don't know, this could be a split decision.
Are they going 3 or are they going 5?
It's 3, I believe. And if it goes to
sometimes those co-main events or that fourth fight could be 5.
It could be. I'm not sure on that. You might want to
look it up, yeah.
But if it's a split decision and it was tight and you're like, oh, I think Chandler won, or the one judge has it this way, then I think there's still some questions out there. But if it's a finish or a domination, like, he's good. Like,
I think it's 5.
It is 5.
It's like it's 5 rounds.
Oh boy.
No, Hard Rock.
Who is that more in favor of?
Chandler.
Oh,
well, the cardio is probably Patty, but I think if Patty can't get him out of there, like, Chandler's he's going to find a shot on the chin sooner or later, I believe. So we're going to find out. Because, like, Patty's got some ground game as well. His BJJ is really good, but Chandler's a wrestler, so...
Right, because I was about to say the takedown percentage for Chandler is a little bit higher than what it is for Patty.
So Patty wins. Is it going to be, like, by submission, or can he win by knockout?
He could catch him if he tires Chandler out. He could catch him. He's saying he's going to knock him out, which he must see something that I don't. But Patty hasn't really finished many people that way. It's all been by BJJ, except for his earlier fights. But I don't know, man. This fight's confusing. It could go either way.
Is Chandler's explosiveness enough to overwhelm Patty early, or does that end up backfiring?
It could do both. It's proven he could be a success at really overwhelming people. He's been within seconds of beating every guy he's lost to, like Oliveira, Gaethje. Like, he caught them, and then they caught him, and just knocked down, drag out fights. So, like, we're talking about seconds, not minutes, seconds that could have changed all those fights, and he could be undefeated. But that's not the way the cookie crumbles, and you play with fire, you get burned, and he likes to just stand and trade. So this is the result.
Yes, you do play with fire and you get burned. We used to light tennis balls, douse them in gasoline, and then light them on fire and play lacrosse with them. And sometimes when the ball goes too far, you have to go try to grab it. But luckily, the fire kind of dissipates rather quickly. We were some dumb kids, man. But we come by it honestly because my dad was dumb kids, and they used to jump over kids with their motorcycles. And then we said, you know what? Hold my sippy cup because we would jump over kids with our bicycles, so we didn't even have the motorcycle.
Yeah, but see, you guys are making those games up. When me and Johnny Yankenseed were kids, I think he's old enough too. Man, we had games that you bought at the store that were dangerous, like lawn darts and stuff. Yeah, they sold, just willingly to kids.
Paintball.
They wanted you to be able to paintball. Oh my gosh! One time, so we had like a field for everything. There was a football field. There was a basketball, a tennis baseball field. Then we had our basketball and hockey court kind of going different ways. But one day on the church property, we set up a whole bunch of different, obstacles and whatnot. All of our friends got paintball guns, and we're sitting there just playing, and we're shooting into the neighbor's yard, and the neighbor just comes out mad as all get out because they're like, I can't believe, like, we've got kids here in the backyard and we're so, we're not thinking about anything other than our daggum selves at that point, which she marched all the way down to our house and then had a face-to-face conversation with my mom, and so that got nipped in the bud, and so then we had to find, which down there in St. Pete, there's so many, like, there's places to play paintball, many places to play paintball. You got your woods version, your airball version, whatever it is you want to do, you've got that. Here we had, Florida paintball up there on 77. I think there used to be one in town. That one's donezo, and I don't even know if Florida paintball is still going at this point, which is kind of sad because that's a great sport to keep going.
It's very fun.
We were so dumb we'd play BB gun wars, though.
I did that as well.
Yeah. My goodness gracious. All right, moving on here. Last one. What are the chances this one ends in the first round between Chandler and Pimblett?
It's great. Like I said, Pimblett carries that chin high, and I think we're more likely to see Pimblett get finished in the first than the other way around.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Unless he absolutely crazy catch job, like maybe just throwing a choke in really quickly, that's the only way I see. But I think if he beats Chandler, it's the long game.
Let's take a look here at the main event. We've got Volkanovski taking on Lopez here. Is Volk taking a risk facing a surging, unorthodox fighter like Diego Lopez after that loss to Topuria?
No, he is not.
Has it been a year since he's fought Topuria?
It feels like it.
Golly, I got to look that up.
He is not taking a risk because I feel like he has to fight this fight. He has put himself in a situation where he actually needs to win. So, and that Diego Lopez has just risen through and taken fights on short notice and just keeps winning and winning and winning. So he's very active.
The artist formerly known as Diego Lopes.
Yeah.
Remember we used to call him Lopes?
Yeah. Well, and then we hear it's Lopez, but it looks like Lopes. It's like Lopes. February 17th of last year.
That's a year.
Over a year. I was saying, I feel like I can picture. Maybe it was Ilya Topuria that I remember fighting.
Yeah.
Who did he fight? It was someone.
The last person he fought was Holloway. He cleaned his clock.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that's right. Max Holloway.
He cleaned both their clocks.
Yeah. So. He's a beast, man. Can
he
you
just quoted something that was like, it's bananas. And if he were to do that, GOAT status.
Yeah.
He said he wants to know what Islam Makhachev's favorite finish is, like submission.
Right.
And he says he wants to finish on him, but not only finish on him, he wants to drag him to the corner so Habib could watch.
So he wants to.
Yes.
Here's your protege.
That's like Babe Ruth pointing.
Yes. I think it's a little bit different, right? Because Babe Ruth probably pointed a lot of times and didn't have anything like that happen. You get in the octagon like that, and you're basically saying,
shot, man.
I'm so much of a man, and it is. You're 100% right. I'm not discrediting your analogy at all. I'm just saying you're in the octagon, and you're taking another grown man and saying, I am making you my.
Goosebumps. Because I'm a fight fan, and I'm telling you, no one does that to Islam.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, right.
And then the other thing is everything he said he's going to do, he's done. So I'm like, he just cleaned out the two greatest fighters in that weight division ever.
Right.
And he didn't just win. He finished them and left no questions. So
I kind of want to believe him, you know? So I really want that fight.
We'll have to see if we get it. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll finish up here on Volk and Lopez. Then some big picture questions from 314, and then we'll make our picks and anything else that Johnny Yankee Seed wants to bring up. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're 20 minutes away from the race to Talladega.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Tonight, the Atlanta Braves kick off a 3-game series versus the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Marcel tags one to deep left field, and it's nothing but the taillights on that thing.
First pitch coming up at 5:50. We'll have live play-by-play from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Listen to the Braves all season long in a rich audio experience right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. Clear tonight with a wind out of the north-northwest at 13 miles per hour and a low of 56. Tomorrow morning, look for a gentle breeze out of the north and sunshine with a temperature near 67. The afternoon and evening, a high around 72 and sunshine with a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, hot with a high of 72 and sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Whether you're an experienced investor or first-time buyer, Beach House will provide you with top-notch service to guide you through every step of the process. We make the real estate process fun and easy through effective marketing, strategic advertising, and always a client-focused experience. From single-family homes to full-scale developments, Beach House Sales Development has you covered. Check them out at beachhousesalesfl.com or give them a call at 850-919-3500.
Live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. From the diamond to the end zone, from the studio to the sideline, we're the destination for sports on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
We're back in the doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick, Johnny Yankee Seed, and the Bone Crusher. And we are the home for the Coach James Hale Show in the morning, ESPN Northwest Florida. Listen to him weekdays from 7 to 9. Also, make sure that you're tuned in at 7:15 and 8:15 in the morning. They're going to give you a code word of the day. When you hear that code word, text that code word and your racing name. Make it a fun racing name. If it stands out, I believe the random wheel generator automatically lands on those standout nicknames or racing names. Then you got to listen back 1240 on the Inside Drive, 540 with us, the Afternoon Underdogs. If we announce your name, you got to race to your phones and call 850-215-6290. How long it takes you to call back is going to be your qualifying time. The top two fastest qualifying times win the race to Talladega. They're going to get 2 tickets to the Jack Links 500 on April 27th. You're going to get the ARCA Menard Series General Tire 200 and the NASCAR Xfinity Series AG Pro 300 doubleheader on Saturday. We're doing this until April 18th, so we are 7 days away from the final day. If you call in when we call your name, regardless if you go to Talladega or not, you're automatically going to get some great station stash here from Pepsi, Tommy's Express, and, of course, ESPN Northwest Florida. The race to Talladega brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Buffalo Rock, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and by Home 2 Suites. We left off talking with Johnny Yankee. Did you have something to add? We left off talking with Johnny Yankee Seed on the main event here. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. What specific tools does Lopez have that could give Volk real problems?
His youth and size. He's the bigger fighter, and, man, he's quicker. I think he should be stronger. I just think that youth is going to play big in this fight.
Does a win for Lopez here shake up the division of featherweight, or does he still have more to prove?
It shakes it up completely because we've only known 2 or 3 names in that division for a long time, and we're going to get open. If he's dominant and he's good, we're going to get all the greatest matchups. So he's going to be able to fight everyone.
Scotty Scheffler with a missed opportunity on the 16th hole. I believe that was for birdie. He should have a tap in for par, but I'll have to see when we see his scorecard one more time. If Volkanovski loses, should he consider moving up, or should he consider taking a break, even though I would consider if you go more than 365 days without a fight, that's a little bit of a break there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and partly because he had been getting his chin rocked quite a bit. So if you get knocked out, it's a 6-month suspension for health reasons, so rightfully so. But I think if he loses, I think at this point we're talking money fights and just special matchups. So I don't think he should be moving up unless it's a special matchup. He won't win the belt at the higher level. Islam already proved that. And so from this point on, it should be big money fights for him.
Big money fights there. Who's next for the winner? Topuria rematch or a fresh challenger?
I think Topuria is done. He cannot make that weight no more. He says he walks around too big, so he's officially the next weight class up. Okay. That's why he vacated the belt, I believe.
So a fresh challenger then, because this is for, is this for a belt?
This is, as soon as this fight starts, the belt is officially open, like it's vacated.
As soon as this fight starts?
Yes, as soon as it starts.
Topuria vacates the belt.
Yes.
So the winner
takes
of this
the belt. Yes.
Gets the belt.
Yes, they are
so
new
Volk
champ.
could lose. I mean, Volk, who lost this belt, could win and retain the belt without beating the person he lost the belt to.
That's right.
Yeah, there's no lineal champion. It's a paper champion, like they say in boxing, which is kind of, it sucks, man. You want to see somebody get taken out. You don't want somebody just getting a belt because of the circumstance, if you will. Like, we have the rejoiner. You know, if you want to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo! So there you go. But you don't beat nobody. You just, you beat somebody, but you didn't beat the person.
Though. You didn't beat who it was. It's like saying, oh, we're gonna have the World Series, and the teams from the American League and the National League, only the National League team shows up, and then you face the 30th best team in Major League Baseball. Like, oh, here you go. Here's a direct route to you. It's participation to an extent. I mean, it's still fighting.
MMA, since you're more of an MMA guy, like I got more history in boxing. I mean, is that fair to say that MMA people and fans are going to feel the same way, that it's like not as good as obviously having a lineal champ?
The only reason I'm not going to feel that way is he's been there so long and he's earned his stripes. If Topuria was going to come back down, and he could, then I think it is paper champ. But I think Topuria can't make weight. Like, it's a weight issue. Like, he's taking that next step in his age where it's harder to cut weight, so he has to do the right thing and go up for his health.
No, and I get all that though, but it's like, as a fan, you feel kind of cheated, I think, in a way, just because, like I said, like the title wasn't taken from somebody; it was kind of given to somebody else just because of the circumstance.
I could see that, but I think it's going to work itself out. Yeah. I think it will.
All right, man. Well, that's going to do it for our questions on Volk and Lopez. Let's look at the big picture here. What would an upset by Lopez do to the UFC's featherweight marketing plans?
I think it opens the door for everything because there's so many matchups that he could fight. So I think this is good for them. Like, it could let them hit the ground running, and it's all options. So when you're not pigeonholed or in a corner somewhere, like, oh, you have to go this route, everything's on the table, so they should be able to win in that case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go. To the next question we have for you in the big picture: if Chandler or Reyes lose, do they end up becoming gatekeepers? And explain to the listeners exactly what a gatekeeper is.
Gatekeeper is someone who cannot win the belt. He is somewhere around top 5 usually. He's done everything he can to try to get there. He can't get there, but he's still better than the rest. And so everyone's got to go through him. And yes, Chandler is a gatekeeper. And yes, good luck.
For Volkanovski or Pitbull, could this be the last big card for either one of them, depending on how their fights play out?
I don't think Volk's saying anything about retirement, but I could easily see if he loses really badly, like quickly, I could see him saying, wow, something's wrong here. I should probably retire.
Yeah,
so
especially after a year off,
I could see that, but if he's competitive, I don't see how either of them retire. If they're both competitive, they both such big names, and there's plenty more fights to make.
Which fighter could break into the UFC rankings here with a win at UFC 314?
I couldn't see if he was ranked or not, but he should be, or close to top 15, is John Silva, who's fighting Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he looks like a superstar in the making. He's collecting chins. He's
and
undefeated.
That last name just
I think he's undefeated in the UFC. Like, him and his whole fight camp, the Fighting Nerds, they're finishing everyone. Like, if you got money, they haven't lost yet. Like, until one loses, hammer it.
So, and there we go. Maybe we should talk a little bit more about some betting aspects. As James was making us put in $2 bets. He just drives the degeneracy of us here on the Inside Drive or the Afternoon Underdogs. My next question, I guess, would be, Fighting Nerds, is that the one, Chiwiwi?
No, Fighting Nerds is, so
the guy, doesn't he wear, like, glasses?
They all wear glasses. This guy does it, too. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's 4 of them. There's John Silva, Bajalio, who's the main guy, and then there's Prates, and then he just had the nasty knee finish or leg kick. Yeah. That was the other one.
Oh, the
spinning wheel kick.
Yes.
Spinning wheel kick.
Yes.
There wasn't I forget what.
King was the guy that got kicked in the head.
Yeah, Bobby King Green.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's King now, but Bobby King Green to me. But yes, that guy as well. All 4 of them are nasty. They like to finish and beat on people. They're dominance. So if you see one of those 4, throw them in your parlay.
Who was Silva's this weekend?
He's got Bryce Mitchell.
Oh, Mitchell. He's got Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
But he's pissed off Bryce Mitchell, too, with some talk, because obviously there's talk going on. So I could see a case where Bryce's Bryce's BJJ is disgusting. So it's world class. So if he catches him, ruh-roh. But the chin could be caught on Bryce. So this is going to be a good fight.
We got a text in from J.D. Muzinski, who's actually the fight maker over there for Beat Down to the Beach. Make sure you come out there tomorrow evening and see what they have in store at Edgewater. This is an early prelim here, okay? So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how it goes for my pronunciation here. Cedriquez Dumas taking on McCall, or maybe Michael, it's just no E in there. McCall Alekazjuzik. Alexijek. So I'll let you kind of look up on that one. That one's Cedriquez is 10-2, and Alekazjuzik is 19-9 with 1 no contest.
The Dumas guy is frustrating to me, because I've had him on parlays where he looked like he's finishing guys, and then he comes out and lays a dud. So he's a little frustrating to me. I stay away from him. He hasn't quite taken that next step yet, but he has dangerous hands. The other guy has dangerous hands as well, but his chin's a little weak. So.
Oh, Dumas is a Pensacola native and fought. He actually fought here in Panama City a couple of times. So great stuff there. And thanks so much, JD, for not only listening but also providing us with a question or something, something to bring up for Johnny Yankee Seed. One thing that you always bring up with me and probably Caveman Rick as well privately is how these cards, not this particular one, but how these cards kind of stack up with ones in the past. So my question to you is, overall, how does 314 stack up compared to recent ones? Let's say just 2025.
Recently, it's stacked because I feel like they've let us down to start this year.
Did we have one that was just kind of major this year that's supposed to be, but just didn't really play out to be that way?
A lot of these cards haven't lived up. It's been brutal to watch some of them. It's ebbs and flows, obviously, and like UFC a couple years ago, obviously post-pandemic, they just went on a run, obviously, and you're going to have ups and downs, but when fights don't finish the way they're supposed to and fans kind of like get a chance to taper off, that could be an issue. Yeah. So I think that's where we're at right now. I think they really need to get a couple good cards in a row so we can build back up again, because we're low.
Nothing. All right, Caveman Rick. With you
taking it in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm sitting over here, got Hard Rock wide open. Like, all right, what are we about to do, boss man? What is there anything else that we haven't discussed yet that you had on the forefront of your mind before we start diving into the main card, making our picks, and possibly the prelims as well?
I think that's it. You've hammered it. I know you said Conor McGregor earlier. I really think he's done. So
yeah, because he's running into his political world.
Yeah, and he keeps putting himself out there. Look, I think he's toast.
Oh, and the whole daggum, like, what was it? I think it was Logan Paul. It wasn't Jake Paul, but they were supposed to box. That falls through. He's supposed to fight Michael Chandler. That falls through. It's one of those times where you're just like, all right, I'm kind of tired of your cat and mouse game.
We've officially
Conor.
entered. He's close to being a billionaire, and he's having a hard time getting out of bed.
Yeah.
So, and rightfully so.
And it has nothing to do with his surgeries in the past. It's just one of those things, right?
It's rightfully so. I mean, it's kind of hard to fight when you're on a yacht in Dubai and you've got everything you've ever wanted. So, I mean, fighting's for people who are hungry.
Yes.
They've come from it.
So Bernard Hopkins used to say, man, it's easy to get up and work your tail off when you're sleeping in a Roach motel, and then once you got the satin sheets, it's a little harder to get up and bust your tail.
Bingo.
You know.
Bingo.
Oh, looks like Merab and Sugar Sean getting back at it 316.
Not
happy about that?
No, I think that fight I hope he's training right. I hope he is trying something different, because if not, we're going to see the same old thing.
Yeah, where it's just going to be Merab taking care of business. I mean, even though Sugar Sean really felt like he had something there, but
it was more competitive, I think, than Umar in some aspects.
Yeah.
Not the later rounds, but earlier. So I think if he's got better.
Wait, Merab won though, right? Against Umar.
Yeah,
I'm saying, yeah. That was surprising, right?
Yeah. It was very surprising. It was the first time, to my memory, that we've seen cardio be a weapon.
Yeah.
And it was clear cut. It was cardio that won that fight.
Oh, like after the third round, once you got into the championship rounds, it was like, does this guy stop? Like, what are you on drugs that Bryce Miller's hero likes or whatever? You know,
dude, he's literally the machine. That I've never seen a freak like that.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Talk about the Russian machine, what we were talking about earlier with Andrew Weiss, Alexander Ovechkin. No doubt about it. And then also, let's see, Pico, who's an ex-Bellator.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm happy about that.
He's going to be joining the UFC, and Bellator's kind of that, like, AAA, if you will. Like, they're
right under UFC.
It's right under it, but it's just not necessarily the ultimate fighting championship. Right. And so he'll be joining. Don't necessarily have a fight date for him yet.
I think they just announced he signed. But there's, like, Bellator's always had names that could fight that are worthy of being in the UFC. It's just, it's a depth issue. And, like, when you got a guy over there just knocking people out and going on, like, a 6-fight win streak, it's just like, yeah, cool. Who did you fight, though? Right. Half those dudes were cans. Yeah. So
also seeing here, Henry Cejudo's belt got stole from his studio.
I saw a joke. Someone had like a UFC watch. I think Alex Piero's got a UFC watch, and they were like, Cejudo lost his belt, and it's literally the watch because Cejudo's small. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, but I mean that's crazy. Someone breaking into your
They're trying to
podcast
sell it
studio
online. So how do you you're not too bright there. So good luck with that.
Well, and then you're stealing from a guy that can whoop your tail too.
Yeah,
I mean, like.
What if it's another UFC fighter who, is strung out on drugs or something?
If it's a 400-pound man, he is not beating a 400-pound man.
Well, all right, so 400-pound man, but he doesn't have any athleticism about him.
All he's got to do is land on him.
Yeah,
it's over.
That's a good point, man. So how do you feel like if you were to take on Sugar Sean, you think you got him?
Oh, no. I'm too slow. He would pick me apart from the outside.
Is there one single UFC fighter out there that you're like, I have a chance with this guy?
Any of the smallest dudes, I don't think they can knock me out.
What about Ronda Rousey?
Oh, come on.
Had to throw you into that predicament. How about we do this? Let's go ahead and take a break. That way we can be a little bit closer to on time for the race to Talladega. So make sure you keep it locked in. If you're listening and we call your name, give us a call at 850-215-6290. But we got to announce your name first, right after this break here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the Race to Talladega. Join Coach Hale mornings at 7:15 and 8:15 to enter. Then at 12:40 and 5:40, listen for your name to be called. If we announce your name, race to the phones. How long it takes you to call 850-215-6290 is your qualifying time. The two fastest qualifying times win a pair of tickets to the Jack Links 500 from PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Panama City Toyota, and your racing station. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. The road is yours. Let spring adventures begin in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by today and check out the 2025 SUV family. Take a test drive and see the all-new features that elevate any adventure. And now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at Bill Bird Kia, PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust at Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. $17.48 per month per 1,000 finance in 60 months. Qualities limited. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 4/30/25.
Easter is almost here, and it's time for you to hop down to Krispy Kreme Donuts and celebrate the holiday with 4 tantalizing Easter donuts. Try the Bunny Basket Donut, Marshmallow Bunny Donut, Bouncing Bunny Donut, and the Strawberry Iced Donut with Sprinkles. It's the Happy Easter collection only at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937. Krispy Kreme Donuts, where you get them hot.
You've found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. God, guns, and wrestling. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't use the random wheel generator for this one right here because it was so good, which is why I encourage you to come with your racing name, a creative racing name. Ricky Bobby. This is the Race to Talladega. Ricky Bobby, as of now, you are on the clock. Give me a little shake and bake. 850-215-6290. As of a few days ago, Jackson State Jeff is our leader at 2 seconds, and so he is looking good right now. It's going to be hard to beat 2 seconds. Ricky Bobby, you're not shaking, you're not baking, and we've had a whole bunch of DNQ.
Not jumping on that phone like a spider monkey.
Yeah, exactly. Come on now.
Man.
Y'all need to be listening and paying attention here for the Race to Talladega, because looks like Jackson State Jeff is going to be headed up there to Talladega, but we still have another pair of tickets to give away here. So make sure you're listening to the Coach James Hale Show mornings at 7:15 and 8:15. They'll give you a code word of the day, which you guys are good at that. You text that code word and your racing name to 850-215-6290. Then listen back, 1240 with the Inside Drive, 540 with the Afternoon Underdogs. If we announce your name, race to those phones and call the same number that you texted. How long it takes you to call back is going to be your qualifying time. Top 2 times going to head to Talladega for the Cup Series race, the Arca Menard Series, and for the Xfinity Series. And you automatically win as a qualifier some great stuff here from our radio station, ESPN Northwest Florida, Buffalo Rock Pepsi, and Tommy's Express Car Wash. All of this brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Buffalo Rock, Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and by Home 2 Suites. We left off talking about UFC 314. We're going to dive right back into it. In JUCO baseball, local scoreboard action here. Gulf Coast took down Tallahassee yesterday 15-5. In high school baseball, it was Vernon over Bethlehem 16-3. Bozeman over Rutherford 4-1. Alta took down Ponce de Leon 7-6. Arnold over Greenwood 4-1. Pensacola Catholic falls to Cottondale 9-5. Destin over Paxton 10-2. Holmes shuts out Chipley 11-0, and South Walton with a shutout of their own over Crestview 12-0. In high school softball, Port St. Joe ekes out a win against Liberty 5-4. Cottondale over Walton 3-2. Holmes County over South Walton 4-0, and then Alpha beating Weewall Hitchcock 4-3. High school football schedules have been released. Bay High is going to be opening up the season with their kickoff classic at Niceville on August 15th, and their home game, first home game of the season, is going to be against Arnold on August 21st. Mosley is going to start with the kickoff classic at South Walton. I don't believe we'll be calling that game, but then they'll be hosting Rutherford on August 22nd. Bozeman starting the season at Cottondale on August 15th, and then they have games against Holmes County and Bluntstown. And Rutherford, they're going to be hosting Freeport in the kickoff classic on August 15th. Following that will be an away game again against Mosley on August 21st. North Bay Haven playing Joshua Tree Christian in the kickoff classic on August 15th. Then they'll travel to Freeport on August 22nd. Cannot believe that we're already talking high school football here. And then once high school football starts, then we get to week 0 of college football. Then we get to week 1 of the NFL. And then next thing you know, Christmas is behind us. NFL playoffs are starting. And here we are in the middle of 2026. So, yeah, that's how time works whenever you're a sports fan, right? You get to football season, and it is just gone. All right, let's pick some of these matchups here. Is there anything else you want to bring up? I know you said that we covered it, but is there anything else you want to bring up? All right. Well, let's pick the main card, or do we want to go through the prelims here? Let's go. Let's do prelims. Let's pick the prelims as well, right? Why not? Because we have 11 minutes here to get it done. And I think that we can pick all of these fights within 11 minutes, unless Caveman just gets on a rant. No, I got it. I got it right here. Well, you can pull it up as well. I don't want you to feel like you can't. We'll start it off here with Darren Elkins, who is 29-11, taking on Julian Arosa, who's 30-12. Arosa is a -300 favorite. Elkins is a +240 underdog. Who do you got there?
I'm going to go to Rosa. They're both strikers. The damage likes to take a lot of damage, and he goes zombie mode, but it's probably going to be a decision because that guy can't be. He's like a Diaz brother. They don't get knocked out.
So you're going with Arosa?
Yes, he's going to pick him apart, I believe.
Caveman Rick?
I don't know much about these guys this fight, so I'll just pick with Johnny Akese's picking. It's not even here on the app.
I mean, I've got it pulled up over here.
I'm looking at the ESPN app here in the moment, and they don't even have these fights on here, like the prelim stuff on the card.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with I'll go with Darren Elkins just to be the difference in this, because I mean the records are very close, 29-11, 30-12. I don't know really the ages or anything about it, so I'll go with Elkins just because I'm not gonna be losing any money nor any sleep with this. Let's go to Jim Miller, 38-18. My goodness gracious. Do you even have
he's fought on UFC 100, 200, and 300.
Yeah, that guy, he's been fighting for a while. He's a +600 underdog. He's taking on Chase Hooper, who's 15-3-1. He's -1,000.
Yeah, I'm going with Hooper. He is young and up and coming. He's a great wrestler. He seems to be growing into his body finally because he came into the UFC kind of like Chiwewe. He's like a boy.
Chiwewees!
He ran into a few men and he lost, but now he's got a man body almost, I guess. And yeah, he can do something with it now. And his youth should get him the win.
Yeah, Hooper. If he's -1,000, give me Hooper.
There you go. I'm going to go, I guess we'll just sweep it out. You got Hooper as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just sweep that one out. I'll get the broom out, man. I had to sweep some ants earlier, so might as well just sweep the Hooper as well. Moving on to Yan versus Verna. Jandroba. This is a close one here. Jandroba minus 150. Jan is plus 125 here. What do you know about this one? Oh, this is a girl fight.
Yeah, I would go Jan, I guess.
I had to see the two pieces before I looking at their facials. I was like, okay, it's a small boys fight.
Verna is very, she's not looking at you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm going Jan. It's probably going to be a close fight, but yeah, Jan.
All right. Rick?
Same thing. Give me Jan.
You're not picking against him, are you? I'm going to go with Verna. Jandroba, 21-3, 19-4 for Jan, but tail of the tape, a little bit more height there for Jan, so we'll figure it out. But I'll go with Verna, and then we'll go to Dan Ige, taking on Sean Woodson. Some nice names here for the final fight of the prelims, I believe.
Mr. 4-hour notice guy, Ige.
Yeah.
So this is a big step in competition for Woodson, believe it or not, and Ige has already fought top competition. I don't know why he's not the favorite, but Woodson is on a roll. Man, that's a hard fight. Give me the roll. Give me Woodson. Something telling me there.
All right.
I'll take Ige. We've seen him fight under 4 hours. He's a soldier.
I'm going to go with, wrote that in the wrong place there. I'm going to go with Woodson as well. He's got just one loss and then one, I guess, disqualification or no contest there, 13-1-1. He's 5 inches taller than him. He's got a little bit of 7 inches of reach is a lot, plus the signature strikes landed significant strikes landed per minute
He's a good boxer.
5.66. Let me get that. I'll go with Woodson. Then we'll move on here to the main card. Nikita Krylov taking on Dominic Reyes. Krylov 30-9 and then Reyes 14-4. Krylov minus 170 as a favorite, plus 140 for Reyes as a dog.
This is going to be a stand-up fight, by the way. This is going to be a good one. Someone should get knocked out.
Oh, what was the fight that was so good? The bicycle kick. That was the one, and then the next fight is when I fell asleep because it was...
Remember you told me, you're like, wow, that's awesome, and I was like, the next one could be a snoozer, though, because that's usually what happens, because it was a girl fight, and I said, get ready, it's going to kill the card, and it killed it.
I literally woke up at 12:40.
I've been watching fights this long that I know it's coming, and it's brutal.
Yeah, but I wake up, I'm like, oh... They're in the press conference at this point. I'm like, well, dadgum. And I really, the final fight of the night was something I really wanted to watch. So you got Krylov?
I don't know which one to go with. I'm going to go Krylov because Reyes has shown that he can be knocked out.
All right, Rick?
I'll go Reyes.
I am going to go... I'm good. Man, I've been taking a lot of underdogs. I'm going to go with a favorite here. I'll go Krylov in this particular fight. And then we'll go to Bryce Mitchell, 17-3, plus 165 underdog, taking on Jean Silva, who's 15-2, minus 195 as a favorite.
This fight hurts to pick because I could see it going either way. Bryce is definitely better on the ground, but he's got to get it there first, and that guy is cracking chins, John Silva, so I'm just going to... He's steamrolling, and that whole fight camp steamrolling. I'm going with him.
Who'd you say?
John Silva.
John Silva.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Silva. You said, those dudes from the Fighting Nerds, pretty tough, pretty impressive, so yeah, give me the Fighting Nerds.
I'm going to take the Fighting Nerds to get their first dork loss of the season here, and I'm going to take the... I'll take the fighting... I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to just take Bryce Mitchell here, Mr. Arkansas. I feel like that's a good way to put him there, Bryce Mitchell. And then we go to Yair Rodriguez at 20-5, taking on Pitbull, who's 36-7. Rodriguez, minus 180 favorite. Pitbull is a 150 underdog.
I have no idea how this is going to go because remember when they cross over into the real, everyone's a banger in the UFC, so we don't know about level of competition in his age. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I feel like he could take to the ground where Yair is a little weaker. So I'm going to go Pitbull.
Rick?
Shoot, I'm trying to think which one I want here. Give me... Yeah,
Liberty or give me death.
Rodriguez is the favorite. Give me Rodriguez.
All right. I'm actually going to go that same way, not necessarily because he's a favorite, but because he's got 6 inches on Pitbull. He's got 5 years on Pitbull, and he's got another significant strike advantage there. And so for me, kind of and his takedown, I mean, really, you look at it from top to bottom, statistically speaking, which means nothing because it's not about the size of the dog, but the fight that is within that dog. And this particular fighter is named after a dog. So he could have that, but I am going to go with Yair Rodriguez. All right, to the co-main event. 3 minutes left on the show here. Michael Chandler taking on Patty the Batty Pimblett. Michael Chandler 23-9. Patty is 22-3, and Patty's actually the favorite. Are you surprised that he's the favorite in this fight? Okay,
I'm not. It could go either way. I'm going to go with Michael Chandler to find that chin.
This is kind of tough. Patty Pimblett's good to watch, man. He's a pretty exciting type dude. Don't know if that's going to get the best of him. Flash doesn't necessarily mean you win. I guess. Dang.
It's hard.
Tough. It is. It is tough.
It's the toughest one I'd say that we've picked to this point. Of the
Give
ones
me
that
Patty
we know.
Pimblett.
Patty the Batty for Caveman Rick, and I think I'm going to echo that as well. Again, 8 years younger. He's got a little bit of a size advantage there, and then when you're looking at the numbers outside of takedowns, it does look to favor Patty. I would say that when we talk about the fight and the dog, from what I've seen from Michael Chandler, I would definitely. I feel more comfortable with Michael Chandler, but I'm going to take the risk here and go with Patty, even though he is the favorite in the fight. And then last but not least, we've got the main event. Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopez. Volk is 26-4, Lopez 26-6, so very comparable records right there. However, Volk minus 155 as a favorite. Diego is plus 130 as a dog. What do you got here, Johnny Yankee?
I think it's going to be a great fight, but I'm going to go with the youth. I'm going to go with Lopez.
Richard?
Tough one again for me. I think on this one, I'm going to go to the Diego Lopez, man. Volkanovski's been out for a year. He's kind of old, so yeah, give me the young, tough guy. Lopez.
I mean, I might as well stick to the script, right? The bigger guy, the youth on his side, every statistic that I'm looking at now, significant strikes is in the favor of Volkanovski, and so are takedowns. So when it comes to those statistical breakdowns, Volk has actually got the edge. However, I'm switching it up. I'm going to stick with Alexander Volkanovski, and I'll take that. I'll take the old guy here. Every now and again, every dog has his day. Volk's got a lot of experience. Looking forward to UFC 314. Johnny Yankee Seed, man, I know that you're a Giants fan. I know you're so excited about having Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and possibly drafting. Who do the Giants draft real quick here? Because we're out of time.
I don't know if they take a quarterback now with all that room, but
Travis?
No, I'd rather have. I think I want Carter.
You want Abdul Carter? Yeah, no doubt. All right, y'all have a great weekend out there. Braves are coming up next. Just remember, Jesus loves you, so do I. For Bone Crusher, for Johnny Yankee C, for Caveman Rick, I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. And get back here Monday. Well, keep it locked in all weekend, but be here Monday at 7:15 and 8:15 for the code word from the Coach James Taylor Show. We need contestants for the race to Talladega. Y'all take care. Be safe. Buckle up. I love you.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Tonight, the Atlanta Braves kick off a 3-game series versus the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Marcel tags one to deep left field, and it's nothing but the taillights on that thing.
First pitch coming up at 5:50. We'll have live play-by-play from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Listen to the Braves all season long in a rich audio experience right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Friday. Clear tonight with a wind out of the north-northwest at 13 miles per hour and a low of 56. Tomorrow morning, look for a gentle breeze out of the north and sunshine with a temperature near 67. The afternoon and evening, a high around 72 and sunshine with a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunday, hot with a high of 72 and